You know that moment? Everyone pulls out their phone to capture the sunset. And then there's one person who just watches, with their actual eyes. No screen, the one who says, "I'm not on social media." And the whole room stares like they just confessed to living in a cave. That person isn't a technophobe. They're not a hermit. They might actually be protecting something most of us have already lost, without even realizing they lost it. Neuroscience is beginning to uncover something fascinating about these people. Their brains might actually be wired to resist something the rest of us fell for, without question, without a single question. Just no. Let's figure out why everyone else got hooked, and what it says about those who chose differently. Let's start with the obvious. Why can't 5 billion people put their phones down? Social media taps into one of the most primitive parts of the brain, the need for social validation. It's millions of years old, and that's exactly what these platforms exploit. Every second you're on them, you post something, you get likes. Your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that makes you crave chocolate. Victory, closeness, variable reward, sometimes likes, sometimes nothing. That's what makes the loop stronger. These platforms were literally designed by engineers who studied behavioral psychology. They knew what they were doing, and they did it on purpose. Every feature, infinite scroll, notifications, reaction stickers, is calculated to keep you inside. But here's where people without social media get really interesting. They're not deprived of dopamine. They just get it from different sources. Research shows their reward system is less triggered by external approval and more activated by internal satisfaction, the process itself. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation, and they've known for decades it's more powerful. They don't need 200 strangers to like their vacation photo to feel it was worth taking. The experience itself is enough. Psychologists call this the ability to validate yourself. Social media has a dark side, one a lot of people don't want to admit. It's not just about connection, it's about comparison. Every time you scroll, your brain is unconsciously measuring your life against someone else's, your life against someone else's best moment, your backstage against their curated performance. And you always lose that comparison. Always. Because you're comparing your normal against someone else's best. A study from the University of Pennsylvania, with actual numbers, limiting social media to 30 minutes a day significantly reduced depression and loneliness. Those who don't use it at all, even lower anxiety, even higher life satisfaction. They opted out of a game you can never win. Now let's talk about attention. What happens to it when you're always in the feed? You're training your brain to crave novelty every 3 seconds. Brain imaging confirms it. Heavy social media users show decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's your focus zone, decision-making, impulse control. People off social media train it every day, just by living. Now, real connection, and why they have more of it. Social media isn't actually social, it's performance. Every post is a tiny audition for approval. Every story, a calculated move in an invisible game of status. They looked at that game and said, "No, this isn't connection, this is theater." Real connection happens in 3 dimensions, not through a screen. In the pause before someone answers a question. In the laugh that's too loud and unfiltered for a video. In the moment that's too ordinary to post, but somehow perfect anyway. People without social media understand. The best moments are the ones you don't share. They're the ones you just live. Research confirms they have stronger real-world relationships, not more relationships, deeper ones. They're not spreading their energy across 500 acquaintances they haven't spoken to in a decade. They invest that energy in the people actually in their lives. The average person spends over 2.5 hours a day on social media. That's 912 hours a year, 38 full days a year, scrolling through other people's lives instead of building your own. People without social media get those 38 days back. They read, they create, they think, they exist without an audience. Psychologists call it continuous partial attention. You're never fully anywhere. One eye on the moment, one on your phone. They escape that trap. When they're with you, they're actually with you. They're not mentally drafting their next post while they listen to you. In a world of continuous partial attention, That's genuinely rare. Let's talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's the main reason most people can't quit, even when they desperately want to. The algorithm knows this and uses it against you. Every algorithm is optimized to trigger emotion, envy, outrage, insecurity, because those emotions keep you engaged, not joy, these emotions. But here's what people who opted out discovered. Most of what you fear missing is digital noise. The funnel of everything you fear missing, pour it all in at the top. What comes out the bottom? One tiny gold star. What actually matters? What really matters finds you, even without an account. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Social media is designed to make you feel not enough and pull you back in for validation, again and again. People without social media stepped out of that system. What happens after? You start to believe you're enough. Without the perfect photo, without the persona, you're free to just exist. And that's actually revolutionary. There's another angle worth exploring: creativity. Artists and writers who step away from social media consistently report something strange. Their work gets better, significantly better. Instead of chasing algorithms, likes, virality, they stop and start creating for themselves again. The work becomes expression, not performance. Social media turned everyone into a personal brand, quietly, without asking. You're not just living your life, you're curating, editing, marketing it. People without social media left that framework behind. They're not brands, they're just people. And there's a freedom in that. Most of us have forgotten exists. There's also something important about memory. When you document, you remember less. The brain switches into performance mode instead of presence mode. Two versions of the same moment, documented and lived. Before you think this is some anti-technology manifesto, it's not. Social media is a tool, like a hammer. You can use a hammer, or you can let it drag your hand. The real question isn't, do I use social media? It's, who's in control? Are you consciously choosing to be there, or are you being pulled in compulsively? Be honest with yourself. That's all I'm asking. People without social media answered that question honestly. Their answer was no. They decided their attention, time, and mental energy are worth more. In a world constantly selling convenience in exchange for your autonomy, that's a choice worth examining, whatever you decide. People without social media aren't better than anyone else. They just chose differently. And in a world designed to constantly distract, that choice requires strength. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Every moment you spend scrolling, you're giving it to someone else's agenda. Someone else's agenda. Someone else's profit. Someone else's interests. They took their attention back, and they're spending it on what actually matters to them. Spending it on what actually matters to them. If you're someone who doesn't use social media, you're not weird. You're not antisocial. You're not missing out on life. You're just living differently, and in a world where everyone's performing their existence for an audience. Just living might be the most authentic thing you can do. Your attention is yours. Spend it on yours. If this resonated with you, like and subscribe. We break down psychology like this every week. See you next time.